Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F123 My Team Career Mode. We're here for episode number 8, for round 8, in season 1 for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you did miss out on the last episode, episode 7 from the Canadian Grand Prix, then there'll be a link in the top right hand corner of your screen. Spoilers will be coming up ahead, where Ferrari bottled their strategy, and it was a chaotic race as rain played a key part in that said chaotic race. Now, after Canada, we head to the Red Bull Ring, where it is a sprint weekend. So, but yeah, after that, we did pick up our second race win out in the season, and Max Verstappen DNF'd with both Red Bulls, both Ferraris and Mercedes not scoring any points whatsoever in that race, with Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri finishing on the podium, while a teammate finishing 7th. As we now head in, also at the end of last episode, we did hit Team Acclaim level 10, so we signed Shark as another secondary sponsor. And our engine is getting pretty worn, so maybe the first component is maybe gonna have to stop, and we may gonna have to use some really old parts now as we now advance time. But we do have 4 upgrades coming this race, and also Dennis Hauger's contract does run out after the Austrian Grand Prix, so next episode we will be seeing if maybe we're keeping Dennis Hauger or we're going to maybe look for a replacement. So yeah, as I think we're all going to look at as we can't really purchase any upgrades as department capacity. We are quite limited, but now we can purchase some upgrades, and we're going to have to repurchase that aerodynamics upgrade for the Halo. It will come on for Britain, which kind of makes it more equal now, because the front downforce is going to come on for Britain anyway. So if that doesn't fail, then we're good. Powertrain, the rotor speed came on, but the ECU did fail, so we have to repurchase that. That'll come on for Britain. So we're basically just getting a whole load of upgrades on for Britain, which is good, because Britain is a power circuit. We do have one upgrade on, I think, for this race, and I think it was a minor powertrain upgrade for the ERS, as we are going to purchase a major engine power upgrade, which will come on for Belgium, another power circuit. And once that durability upgrade comes in before Britain, then we will purchase that quite cheap upgrade. But anyway, we've now got an aerodynamics department event where invest in new tech or stick with current methods. So the aerodynamics department would like us to invest into new tech that will allow us to produce more prototype parts in-house. Okay, I've decided to go for the higher cost, because I think it's time to try something new, maybe to try boost the team, and maybe find out some more stuff of like where we're struggling. So yeah, but now we head into we're getting ready then for the race weekend, and we're gonna quickly head over to the R&D, and you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 upgrades coming on for. We've got 4 upgrades coming on for Britain and 1 upgrade coming on for Spa. So yeah, we didn't get I didn't get a weather report message for this weekend, but as you can see, there is rain for qualifying and the race at the end of the race, or sometime during the race. But also in the last episode as well, Nico Hulkenberg, if you didn't, Eagle Eye viewers, if you didn't see in the messages, there was a retirement announcement message. That's because Nico Hulkenberg will be retiring at the end of the season. But yeah, AlphaTauri have actually made a big gain coming into this race weekend, as we now head into qualifying then, and I may have made a mistake coming into qualifying, as you'll see in a minute that I realised this before, I think, and you can see with the battery it's only got 80% capacity. That's because I've put my practice engine in and I haven't put the fresh components in for qualifying or the sprints or anything. So we are gonna have to not do any running, and we're gonna be starting from the back as we go. Some of them did get a penalty warning, but I don't know why. Because I didn't go out on the track or anything, and so I just retired. I didn't set a lap time or anything, so we're going to be starting from P22 then for the sprint. So yeah, as apparently we did lose a rivalry, but it was still on. Like, we can still try beat Hulkenberg, but oh well. As we now head into FP2, as FP1 was a shambles, I forgot to lower the AI, and so this is, unlike this weekend was just such a mess. Sprint weekends like really catch me out. I don't know why, but FP1 I left it on 106 or 107, whatever I had it on for Canada, and I forgot to lower it to 90 because I always put it to 90 for practice just so I can get them done quicker. As you see, tyre wear is how it is expected, and lap times are quicker. So we put 51.1 kilos of race fuel in. But yeah, sprints just catch me out because it's like there's qualifying, and it's like I just normally quick practice FP2, so it's like I don't need to worry about changing my engine, but I had to change my engine then, so yeah. But anyway, as I went back to tyre life, as some laps they were under, some laps they were over, so it kind of balanced out. So some laps I was obviously pushing, some laps I was like just cruising kind of. But yeah. So yeah, sprints are like chaos because AI, I need to keep remembering to up or lower the AI and stuff, but anyway, we got all the practice programs done, got all development boosts and stuff. We're on 1,300 R&D points, and we do get quite a lot of. We do get. I wouldn't say we get big discounts because they're always the upgrades now are like progressively more expensive now. So yeah, and you see that ICE is now 100 and some R&D points, so we will be purchasing that very soon once that failed durability upgrade that failed before we headed into the Grand Prix weekend comes on next race. So yeah, with all the practice programs done and everything, let's head into then the sprint for the Austrian Grand Prix and to the grid.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Joe, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Hauger, De Vries, Sargent, and the owner driver rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
So then, after a pretty abysmal qualifying then, yesterday on the Friday, let's see if we can gain some places here on Saturday in the sprint, as I think the AI is still on 90. I kind of forgot to put it up to 103. I think I was going to put it up to, as this track the AI are quite good at, so yeah. But I'm going to try and make it more realistic as I can, and try to not gain as many places, try and make it realistic for you guys. As we come now to the end of the formation lap for the sprint, and let's see how we do when we line up. For some reason I always go to on an angle. As you can see, the fronts are very cold. I did not do a good job warming the fronts up, but the rears are very warm, so we're going to have a good launch as we go to 5 red lights for the sprint race. Then here from the Red Bull Ring, and it's lights out, and away we go, and we get a little bit of wheel spin, tyres just maybe a little bit too overheated, but Dennis Hauger got a good start as he moves to the inside, but we're going to send it down the inside of quite a few cars, but we only make up 2 places out of all of that, and so we're now going up into turn 3 as we're going to try and deploy the battery, but I know that the AI is on 90, so I'm not really going to deploy the battery. We're going to send up the inside of Joe and Sargent and Albon, and maybe the Alpha Tauri of, I don't know who it is, and the Alfa Romeo or Bottas, as it's Tsunoda, the Alfa Romeo, that we make, because we made a little bit of contact with him. As we're going side by side then into turn 4, are we going to be late on the brakes? Yes, we are. We'd be a lot later on the brakes compared to the AI, and we make the corner, and we're up and into P16. As yeah, I've kind of nerfed myself where I'm not going to use battery. I'm going to try not to use a lot of it. I know it will cause damage onto my energy store, but because at this moment, before I was just trying to get this recorded as soon as possible, because it's been a couple of days since the last My Team video. So yeah, but Charles Leclerc leads the way then at the end of lap 1 on the sprint, as some people did go for the softs, with both McLarens going for the softs and Tsunoda going for the softs. Everybody else is on mediums, so we'll have to see how them 3 perform compared to us on the mediums, as their softs is going to probably die off maybe about lap 8 or 9 towards the end of the sprint. As we now come up to turn 3, we do go purple in the middle sector, as I forgot to take off the lap timing graphic off, so yeah, it's a bit annoying the fact that that's there, but oh well. I keep forgetting to do it, so hopefully and I decided to just record the next episode, so I'm a couple of just out of context, I am like a couple of episodes ahead, but I've only recorded this and Britain, so, and the next round in Britain, so hopefully by Spa I would have got rid of the graphic, which is going to be another sprint, by the way, as end of lap 2 then, and DRS has now been enabled as Magnussen and Bottas are going side by side, as we're going to try and maybe jump both of them. We're going to activate the DRS. We're not going to use any battery, but we're gonna go 3 wide maybe. No, we're not. We back out. But Bottas and Magnussen are going side by side. I tried to go for the cutback, but I just couldn't get the turn in. But Magnussen gets a poor exit, and so that's gonna leap us up into P15. And we're gonna get a slipstream of Valtteri Bottas. He doesn't have DRS. He leaves the gap open to round. We're gonna go around the outside. As we go around the outside, we make a little bit of contact though, going into turn 4, and we get the move done. We're up into P14 then of this sprint race, as we now go on to lap 5, and we've caught up to the back of. Bottas and Tsunoda have got back past, as we're down to P16. I must have had a mistake or something. But we got a poor exit out of turn 1, and now Magnussen and Albon are going to have a look maybe on me into turn 3, as Tsunoda and Bottas are going side by side, as Magnussen has a look up the inside and doesn't quite make the move stick. But we're going to get a good exit compared to Yuki Tsunoda, and we're going to have a look for a move. I think I use a little bit of battery, as we're going to go to the inside on both Tsunoda and Bottas yet again on lap 5, and we make the move stick, and that's how you know that we're on 90 AI unfortunately. And actually, because I squeezed out Bottas, Tsunoda actually got through on Bottas as well. So yeah, we're back up into P14, as now we move swiftly onto lap number 6, the next lap, and we've got yellow flags through the fast left-handers, and Alonso is pulled over to the side of the track, and Fernando Alonso is out of the sprint race here in Austria, as we now come down into turn 9 and turn 10, but we're going to skip on to lap 7 a couple of corners later, and Gasly and Piastri are going at it side by side, as I'm going to try and get the cut back and try and get a better exit compared to them, and then we're going to get DRS. Piastri is going to get the DRS, Gasly is, and they're going to keep going side by side, and let's see, are we going to maybe look for a move and try and make it 3 wide, but we're not quite close enough. As we head down into turn 4, they're still going side by side. They're losing a lot of time, as Piastri is really starting to struggle maybe on his soft compound tyres, as Lando is also struggling a bit as well, as he's down to P7, so he's lost a place to Perez, I think. But he is staying within the DRS, though, of Sergio Perez, currently, as you can see on the leaderboard, on the timing sheets, on the left-hand side. As we look for a move then, through turn 9, on Oscar Piastri, we go down the inside. Normally crashes happen on this game, on these games with the AI as they're coming into the pits. But we get up into P12 then, and we're now chasing after Gasly with 5 laps to go then, here from the sprint race in Austria, as we head down into turn 1, and we get a good exit, and are we going to have a look, maybe into turn 3, but we want to try to get the DRS out of turn 3 and into turn 4, so we're going to go to the inside, and we back out, so we make sure that we get the DRS, and we try to get a good exit, but we get a lot of wheel spin on the exit, and we don't really get a good exit compared to Gasly, as you now go on to lap number 9 as the same corner, and we are very close. Let's see, can we get a good exit? Yes, we can just about get a good exit as we open up the DRS, the big letterbox on our rear wing, as we're going to maybe look for a move, maybe down the inside, onto turn 4, you bet! Down the inside we go on Pierre Gasly, and we're up into P11. Next up is Nico Hulkenberg, my rival, as we now come down as lap 9, and as we skip a bit further on lap 9, as I get a poor exit out of turn 8, as Gasly's now going to have a look down the inside maybe into turn 9, and we let him go, and we try our best to try and get the place back, as we now go on to lap number 10. We've got 3 laps to go, as we're going to have a look around the outside into turn 1, and you see Gasly's actually got some slight front wing damage on his left end plate, as we're going to hang it around the outside, but we missed the apex, carried a bit too much speed, and we both haven't got DRS, so I took back in after going off track at turn 1. We're going to tuck back into the position. We're going to pull out to the outside onto turn 3, and I'm going to make sure that I get the DRS and make sure I get a better exit compared to Pierre Gasly, and we do get a better exit, but we're a lot closer to what we were when we first tried to overtake him on lap 9. As we now come down into turn 4, we're going to go around the outside this time, and we're later on the brakes, but we make a little bit of more contact with Gasly, and we get front wing damage. We get slight front wing damage on Pierre Gasly, as one of the Alfa Romeos, Joe, I think, has spun at turn 3. As we come through turn 7 and turn 8, we're going to get a replay now of what happened. And as you can see, Joe has got DRS on De Vries, catching De Vries. De Vries is ahead of him, but on the exit, De Vries is now not ahead of him. De Vries is behind him. Literally, as he just loses the rear end. Then, as we now go on to the final lap then of the sprint race, and it looks like we're going to settle for a good P11, as Bottas and Albon are actually squabbling behind, and that's actually allowed Oscar Piastri and maybe Kevin Magnussen to maybe join the fight for P13, as Piastri gets past Valtteri Bottas. I don't think Bottas had DRS then, as they headed up to turn 3, but now we are going to deploy the battery, as it's the last lap, and I'm not really going to overtake anybody else. But Stroll and Hulkenberg are going to go side by side through turn 4, and they're going to continue through turn 5 and turn 6, as we now come through turn 6, as Stroll keeps ahead of Nico Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg backs out as they come through turn 7 and turn 8 to end the lap then, to end this sprint, as Max Verstappen wins the sprint race here from Austria, with Hamilton and Sainz rounding out the podium. It's not really a podium though, is it? With both Ferraris dropping places then off the front, they were 1-2, but yeah, Ferrari maybe don't have the pace round here this weekend, as I think they have good tyre life, but they don't really have, once their tyres go off, the pace really starts to slow down. But we make good progress up to P11, as there is no cutscene, so it's literally just straight to the results. As with the sprint done, let's then head into the main race for the Austrian Grand Prix, and see if we can get some good points maybe on the board after our good form in Canada last time out.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Perez, Norris, Stroll, Hulkenberg, the owner driver, Gasly, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargent, Helga, De Vries, Joe, Ocon, and Fernando Alonso rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So here we go then, start of the formation lap yet again, for this time for the main race here from the Red Bull Ring after a pretty comfortable sprint race yesterday. Let's see if we can gain any more places. We've actually gained a place. We're now up and into P10 after we did finish the sprint in P11. As now, who did we fall to? Oh, it was Ocon, I think. I can't remember. You would have seen it in the grid lineup. I don't watch the grid lineups when I record this, and also when I edit this. Because I'm trying to get these videos out as quick as I can, really. But yeah, we're going to line up on the grid then for the Austrian Grand Prix, as now the rest of the people are going to start lining up. As we now go to 5 red lights then for the main race here from the Red Bull Ring here in Austria, and it's lights out and away we go, and we get a good start. Do we? Yes, we do get a good start as we hold our position, and we do hold our position to the Williams behind of Alex Albon, I think, as we now go around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg into turn 1, as he got a bit blocked, a little bit boxed in by Stroll and Norris. Them two going side by side through turn 1. As then I go up towards turn 3, I'm on the outside. I really kind of wanted to dive bomb, but we're going to try and look maybe around the outside of Lando Norris. Yes, we do, as his yellow flags just by everything concertinaing up. As we now go down in towards turn 4, I'm going to use the battery, as the AI is now back up to 103. As we now go down in towards turn 4, we're going to try to go late on the brakes, but Norris is later on the brakes than what I was. As we just cede the position to Norris, we know he's on the faster tyre. We're not really we are trying to race him, but Lando Norris just is on the soft compound tyres. He's got more grip than us. We're on the mediums. We're doing a medium to hard strategy then. Here from Austria, as always, as we now go on to lap 4, and as you see, the clouds are already starting to cover. It's starting to get a little bit doom and gloom. So is the rain going to come earlier than maybe anticipated? But as we now go to the replay cameras on lap 15 now, because my recording, as always, was full. My storage was full. So yeah, we have to skip to the replay. We now have to go to the replay cameras, as we're going to have a look maybe around the outside of Lando Norris, as we're going to try to go for a cutback. Do we get a better exit? Yes, we do. We're going to have the DRS as we're now going side by side through into turn 4, as we do have the inside line, and we get the overtake done way before the braking zone. So we're up and then into P4, as some people did pit on that last lap and trying to go for the undercut. So I am going to respond on this lap, and I thought Norris would probably pit next lap, so I was trying to go for undercut on him, but it turns out that we're both coming in together. So here we go then, into the pit lane, and Norris follows us in, as Russell, I think, was gaining on us, as actually no, Russell was fighting Lando, as you didn't see that because I didn't pick it up in the replay cameras, as I think that was on like 10 or something. But anyway, we're into the pits then, and we're going to see if we can if we can maybe build our gap more to Lando. As we come into the pits then, we're going to fit some fresh white striped hard compound tyres, and we come out and Lando is closer than what he was when we came in, so we did lose a little bit of time to Lando during the pit stops, so maybe he had a quicker pit stop time than us, maybe he was stationary for a short amount of time. But yeah, somehow I got the DRS. I don't know how, but apparently I did. Maybe it's because I was behind, maybe because Russell overtook us as I was entering the pits. But anyway, as we now come down into turn 4 then, as Lando does have the DRS, he's going to have a look maybe to the outside. No, he doesn't have a look, as our tyres are going to take a couple of laps to warm up. Lando's will probably get warm after... Oh god, that's not good. As I don't know if that's a glitch or anything, but I got the team radio on that exact thing. But anyway, as we now come down into turn 3, we'll see which gear we have lost, and it looks like we have lost 4th gear then. That's a crucial gear really, as you'll see coming into turn 4, as I usually like to take it 4th gear just so I can keep the car stable, but as you see, because I have to go down to 3rd, the rear end gets very loose and we get very slidey, as George Russell maybe could have a look round the outside, and he is going to have a look round the outside, maybe into turn 5 and turn 6, as he's going to go down the inside then, as we're going to try and get a cut back then in towards turn 7 and make a little bit of contact through turn 7 and turn 8, but we do get the switchback done. Not quite as clean as I anticipated it, but we are ahead still of Russell, but that's kind of not a good place to overtake, as we kind of wanted to overtake through a DRS zone, but now Russell and Lando have both got DRS on me, and we're going to see if we can hold on, as lap 23, we are P6, we are fighting for P6, and we're going to see if we can get maybe a good amount of points over our rivals, as we now come down into in towards turn 3, and Russell's going to have a look down the inside, but we go very late on the brakes, and the car is literally sliding about as Lando Norris nearly goes into the back of us, as I do get the DRS on George Russell. We're going to have a look, maybe I'm going to go down to the inside, no, we're going to go round the outside in towards turn 4, I'm going to get the move done. We've got to be very careful, especially with our worn out gearbox. I think we've still got our 4th gear missing, as we just can't get the traction down compared to George Russell, and George Russell keeps P6 and we're back down to P7, as we now go into turn 7 and turn 8, and we've made some some good progress, as Dennis Hauger is still P22 and last, so he may be losing his seat after this race weekend, but we don't know. You'll have to find out in the next episode when that does come out, as we come through then into turn 1 for lap 24, and we're still fighting Russell here. We still keep him within DRS, just about. The gap is about half a second, as we now skip on to lap 26, and Lando Norris is going to look down the inside and we make contact. Oh no, and Lando Norris is absolutely shafted by Race. We make contact. It's like he turned into him. That was my corner. I was ahead at the apex, as Stroll now gets through and into P7, and now Norris is going to be fighting with Albon and the others, as we now take a look at the replay. And as you can see, we squeeze him to the apex and he just turns left into a right hand corner into us. So yeah, let me know in the comments how that should be taken. Should that have been a penalty to Lando, or was it just a racing incident? As we get all caught up, and actually we do have our 4th gear back by this point, as now lap 36 then, the final lap of this race, and we're now going to go side by side with Nico Hulkenberg, and there's Kevin Magnussen even, as Gasly retired earlier in the race, and we keep the position, but we don't have DRS, but Magnussen and Albon do both have DRS, and so does Lando Norris. This is a battle for P8, going into turn 3, we're going to go 3 wide, this can't work, as Albon gets stuck on that curb, and we feed our way through, and we're still in P8, as we do have the DRS. Who does have the DRS? I think it's Magnussen. Oh no, Albon doesn't have the DRS, and Albon is getting overtaken now by Lando Norris, and the rain is falling, and as that has been happening, Lewis Hamilton has been crawling around in the final sector to come home to finish, to win the Austrian Grand Prix, as Max Verstappen had an engine issue mid-race, and so he lost so much performance that he dropped to P6, as Lewis Hamilton crosses the line then to win in Austria with both Ferraris ran out the podium after starting the sprint race yesterday on Saturday, P1 and P2. That's a pretty good recovery, I would say, for the Ferrari team, with Perez and Russell finishing 5th and 6th, and Verstappen with his engine issues finishing in P6, as said, and Stroll finishes P7 after nicking it from nicking P7 off of me and Norris after we had that contact on lap 26, but now we're still fighting for P8, as it's very close. There's 4 or 5 of us within a second of each other, but we get P8 with Magnussen P9, Norris P10, and Albon P11, P12 for Hulkenberg, Piastri P13, and Alonso P14, with Tsunoda, Bottas, Ocon, Joe, Sargent, Hauger, and De Vries running out the field, with Gasly the only DNF of the race. So standings wise, I had to change back to the we're back at the HQ now, but yeah, we're still 7th. We're on 55 points now after we get in that 4 points, and Dennis Hauger is 17th with his 6 points. So yeah, and Verstappen, after that DNF in Canada, could his focus maybe be slowing down? Could be coming down, and maybe he's just starting to lose focus, maybe. And maybe his performance is just lacking now. But yeah, that is pretty much all Austria holds today. And yeah, sorry about my footage being I recorded my whole POV, and I literally checked before the race started that if it was still recording, and it was, and then by the end it was like, oh, your storage is full, so it stopped recording. So yeah, which is why there wasn't any onboard action from lap well, in the video it was lap 4 onwards, but for me it was lap 8 onwards, but nothing really happened. But yeah, so yeah, as you're watching the highlights then from the race, and that's some of these bits in the highlights I didn't show because I think I just kind of forgot, as it was lap 13. But yeah, that is pretty much the race then, and the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. So if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as you see Lando Norris taking me out. But yeah, if you have enjoyed, then yeah, and next week, well, not next week, but next race will be the British Grand Prix, which is my home race, the team's home race, but not Dennis Hauger's home race. So yeah, I shall there's 7 minutes left, don't I? But yeah, if you have and also if you want to suggest anything of like how I could change how I do my videos, then I would appreciate it if you put it in the comments below. And yeah, so that is the Austrian Grand Prix then. So if you have enjoyed, as I've said before, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, as I'm trying to push as much content out as I possibly can. But yeah, as all of that done, I'll catch you guys in the next video for the British Home Grand Prix, my home race. So see you then, peace.